got your cup of Joe?
We got it, baby. We got it going.
Let's go. Mine's still steaming. Mine might be a little bit too hot, man. What do you got
My,
today?
my face is still numb. I actually went to the dentist this morning. They had a few fillings. I had a checkup last week, and when I was a kid, I had like a decent amount of cavities, and they had like a silver, they had like a silver cap on it, and I guess they just like completely worn down, and so he's like, we need to do some different like new fillings on those,
Hmm.
and so that was at 7 a.m. And my face, like this side of my face, is still numb, so it feels so weird
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. Yeah, I've had to have a couple fillings too. Luckily, I haven't had one probably like the last, man, 3, 4 years now. So
Yeah,
that's good. The thing that sucks that with me is they said that I have super porous teeth. So like my teeth get stained easy and they build up plaque super easy. Cause I'm like, dude, I like religiously floss every day. I brush twice a day. I use a fluoride mouthwash twice a day. Like basically all the stuff they're telling me to do is the stuff I'm
yeah,
already doing. And then I still have like, some plaque buildup around like the bottom part of my teeth every time I go in, and they're just like, your glands are right there. And then you happen to have density wise with your teeth, your teeth are some different. People are like more porous than others. So yours actually collects plaque easier. So I was like, damn it. I even had this like little tool that like I scrape it too, but it's just like, it's
shit.
frustrating, man, because you're doing all the things, and it's still just like
Yeah.
genetically like, okay, I'm more susceptible to battle that, I guess. But
Damn,
whatever.
dude. Well,
Yeah.
that's like you're doing a lot of stuff because honestly, when I was younger, it probably until the last like 3 or 4 years, even maybe five.
Mm.
I'd say maybe five. I would just say I flossed. I was like, I flossed. Like,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so
I
you
used to
go
do it
in
when
and
I was
like
younger.
you
Yeah.
think that they're. It's almost like somebody coming to you and being like, yeah, I work out, and
Yeah.
like you're. It's
I eat
like
chicken and broccoli. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
you can tell. They can tell in a second. They're like they start flossing your teeth, and it's like a massacre in there.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, this guy doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably
Exactly.
hear
No.
that all the time, but it is a game changer when you actually even just start to floss. How much better your teeth, like in the eyes of the dentist, at least. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, your teeth are a lot better," but then you're rinsing twice a day and doing some scrape thing, and it sounds like
Yeah.
you're spending like 2 hours a day on your teeth.
Dude, I was doing every precaution they said, and I remember the first time they told me like years back, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna follow exactly what they say. I'm gonna do it. And I think if I weren't doing those things, my teeth would be really bad. So it's just like I go in and I get the standard cleaning every time we do the x-rays, but like I switched over to an electrical toothbrush to like make sure that I'm doing it legitimately for 2 minutes. My toothbrush turns off or like vibrates at like 2 minutes. So I know exactly how long it is. Like, yeah, dude, I did all the steps. I still do all of them. And I'm like, man, if I still have to go in and get them cleaned pretty good, like every time I go in, it's just like, imagine if I didn't do that stuff and wasn't on top of it.
Yeah,
Because I know, like you said, when I was younger and I was a kid, it's like, oh yeah, I've lost, and like I guarantee you, there's people that are not doing that, but I don't think that they have as much trouble as I do or much cleaning as I do when I go in every time. And maybe they do, I don't know, but I just feel like I'm almost like doing damage control, like I'm just doing like just enough to kind of like, even though I'm doing a lot, but like that effort is like just enough to like keep me consistent every time. I don't know, it's weird.
well, what do you know? I think it was like Max Lugavere. That
What
guy,
is
he's
it?
like a Max Lugavere. He's like a fitness, like how, like a more of like a nutrition guy out there. He's
Yeah.
like huge. He's been on Rogan and different stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this guy talks about when you say you like mouthwash a lot. I used to mouthwash a lot too. And then he started talking about like these the negative things about mouthwash, and
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing it. And I forget what it is that he was talking about.
Mm.
Uh,
It's
but have
probably
you
like the
heard any of those
bacteria or
things?
something, like has something to do with bacteria.
Let me look it up. So Let's see what he says on the mouthwash. He says something on. He's like, why you should stop using antiseptic mouthwash regularly. So here's a video. See if I can share this.
Yeah, see if you can share your screen. Yeah, I'd be curious to see
this. Can you see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Responsible for promoting this nitric oxide pathway, which is going to boost blood flow all over the body. People shouldn't use antiseptic mouthwash frequently because antiseptic mouthwash kills the bacteria in your mouth that can then negatively affect this nitric oxide pathway. Just the use of mouthwash one time can actually increase your blood pressure. People who frequently use antiseptic mouthwash, so I'm talking twice a day or more, have a 50% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes and a 100% increased risk of developing hypertension via this pathway.
Huh. Interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
I knew it had something to do with the bacteria because I've heard something about that before. I don't know which one I have. I just have one that was recommended by the dentist with fluoride in it. They're basically just saying you have to wash with fluoride. I don't think it was necessarily like a requirement to have the whatever he said, but I just know that I don't know if your dentist too, they ask you at the end every time, like if you want fluoride or whatever, do they charge you like extra for that? No.
I just they kind of just go in there, clean my teeth, floss it, and then give me like some floss and toothbrush, and I'm on my way.
They always ask me at the end, like, hey, it's like an upsell for them. Like, hey, we should recommend that you put fluoride on your teeth and just let it sit there, and we can do that for you. And like the first couple times I was just like, oh yeah, for sure. And then when I walk out, they're like, oh yeah, your insurance doesn't cover that part. And so it's an extra $50 or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, I get what you guys are doing here. Got it. Yeah. So it's a hard no every time now. But I do need to use fluoride because it helps protect the enamel of my teeth from what they're saying. So they're like, use a mouthwash that has fluoride in it. And so that's what I've been using. So, but yeah, I don't know to hear that. Like, I believe it. I believe that it probably just murders your bacteria in your mouth, right? Like from that standpoint, it's probably not good. But then do I just let the enamel on my teeth not be as healthy and not use fluoride, or do I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. So
that got me to stop using it just because I trust the guy. He's a big research based.
Yeah, no, I do too.
And so I was like, oh, I guess I used to be like a multiple times a day mouthwash guy. And
yeah.
And then he said that and I was like, oh, is that true? I'm sure that probably dentists would say the opposite, but I mean, I don't know. It makes sense, right? It makes sense in like at least the bacteria side of things. I guess doesn't necessarily like in my mind, I'm not computing how that leads to type 2 diabetes and the blood pressure. I don't know. Do you understand what he's saying?
I think what he's saying is like basically it could lead to hypertension some way, shape, or form by the bacteria not being as healthy or as readyful in your mouth somehow. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But like if I was experiencing any of those things too, that would probably be like, okay, that's an indicator that I should probably shut this down or like, take my foot off the gas on it. But, everything's great for me. So like, I'm just going to be like, okay, it's not necessarily affecting me. Does that mean like I should just keep being blind to it? No, like now I'm definitely going to like, keep an eye open and be like, okay, if there's anything that I need to do like that may be potentially leading to some of those things and I'll adjust accordingly. I'm open to all that stuff, I think it helps too that obviously I live a healthy and fit lifestyle. So it's not going to, for somebody who's kind of like on the brink, maybe that might be enough to like push them over. But I'll pay attention to it. I think for now, I'm just going to, like I said, I feel like I'm doing all the things necessary that my dentist says to do to keep the health of my teeth and like in the shape that they are in. And so I'll just keep doing those things. Like if I'm going to ask them next time I go in to see what they say about like how it affects the bacteria in your mouth by using mouthwash. Should I limit the amount of it? Like, I'm just curious to see what they would say.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say too, is like for you, it's probably different than somebody who is a little bit more susceptible to type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, because those people who maybe aren't taking care of their own health and fitness and stuff like that, maybe that would affect them a little bit more using mouthwash as opposed to somebody who's like checking all the boxes throughout the week on the
Yeah.
nutrition and health and workout side of things. Then, I mean, you don't have to worry about that as much. But I'm sure there's probably some mouthwashes out there that'll check the fluoride side of things for you and also not check like the being an antiseptic
Yeah.
mouthwash.
I know for me, that's all I look for in it is it's just the fluoride. Now, is there probably a combo of fluoride and antiseptic? Maybe, I don't know. Now I want to like go check the one I use, but like, yeah, I don't use it to like get like the good breath smell. I just use it for the fluoride purposes. The fluoride is supposed to help my enamel on my teeth. Like, I don't care about it's not like to do anything other than that. So I'll have to check it out. I don't know. I'm curious next time. I got a dentist appointment coming up here within the next month or two. I don't know. I got to check my schedule, but every 6 months, right? Like, so I'll ask him next time I go in.
Well, isn't it crazy though? Like how many of these things are there out there? Like where you could legitimately like not even, you could just avoid everything basically because of people's advice. Like the research always shows that there's like it's this. So Marissa, she follows this lady on Instagram who's, I think it's like Lead Safe Mama or something like that, and everything she tests is just littered in lead. It's like oh, these like healthy supplements. She tests a lot of supplements, right? And then she tests a lot of like healthier foods, right? And it's just always, Marissa's like, I got this supplement, and then now I'm going to not order that. I'm going to reorder a different supplement because and I'm not like, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is great. Like she'll test stuff that I have, and it's like, oh, that's littered in lead, and it's like, oh fuck. And then now I'm starting to think, I'm like, should I get rid of that? Like, should I go to a different one? But I kind of came to the realization with everything that it's they're probably going to find it in everything, right? It's just kind of, it's stress. It sucks. And I think there's certain like areas of your life or times of your life where like, if you're having like a baby or something like that, or you're thinking about having a baby, where it's like, okay, let's try to like wean off of this or that. And like, really try to dial things in on the health side when it comes to taking supplements that are, as good as possible. But then again, there's other times of your life where it's like, I mean, you probably, it's the food we eat is just crazy.
Yeah.
Even the organic stuff is just littered in bacteria here. So it's
pesticides.
We live in a country where it's just the food quality is not as good as it is overseas. I mean, everybody talks about, I'm finally actually going over to Europe for the first time, but everybody talks about how much better you feel over there because the food is just so much higher quality, and they can't use the things that we can use in foods over here. But I guess moral of this rant is just that I think that there's like the mouthwash thing and like lead and different things like that they have and that they always find in foods and in supplements these days. And there's so many things that you could focus on, but if you try to be perfect with it, you're just going to stress yourself out, and it's going to cause detriment to your health in that way, as opposed to just being like, you know what, like I'm going to do my best and make the best decisions that I can when it comes to the supplements I use, the things that I use, put in my body. But I mean, like if we worry about our mouthwash and shit like that,
it's tough.
Yeah.
Like I talked to my buddy, and him and his wife have been, they're doing all the steps and procedural things that they have to do to have a kid, and so I asked him, he just got like he's decked out his garage gym, and he's got like cold plunge, and he's got a sauna, and it's pretty sweet. And I'm just like, dude, how's the sauna? Cause I'm looking at him, and he's like, oh, actually I can't do it. I've only been able to do the ice bath. And I was like, why? And he's like, because I guess it doesn't help with fertility in males, or like it's not the best when you're trying to have a baby and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, once your body gets up to a certain temperature, it's like hard to produce a certain amount or quality or whatever. Right. And so I was like, oh man, like that's, so if it's like those scenarios, then it's like, okay, you can like create that hyper awareness around it, but like, I mean, even at our house too, like we're getting rid of like, I see an Amazon delivery show up, and it's like silicone spatula that doesn't have the metals or plastics in it, like just revamping all the stuff through the house too, like certain pans and stuff, like, so we're doing the same thing. But it's just like, if you take it too literal, I feel like before you know it, you're going to be living in like bubble wrap, and just like eating ice cubes, It's just like that's where you're going to narrow it down to. So I think it's a thing of like if you're thinking of listening to this and like, how do I navigate this? You just go, okay, what are the things that are most important to me? And like, I'll focus on those, because I think people will get lost in the weeds and be like, oh, well, I'm not eating organic, or I'm not eating like high quality foods. It's like, well, you're also eating fast food 5 days a week right now too, so like before you worry about like what's on your fruit right now, like we need you to get to eat some fruit like in the first place, right? Like let that become your major problem, and that's the only problem you're focused on, because you've taken care of everything else, right? Like, but people will just major in the minors and they'll drive themselves crazy if they just like, focus on the wrong things. It's like, yes, they're important and they absolutely like are meaningful, but if you don't have your ducks in a row yet, like there's definitely an order that you should be focusing on things, and like the needle movers first, right? Like otherwise you'll just drive yourself crazy, I think.
It's a good point. I mean, I did that exact same thing where I would like focus on, it's like I hear this from this person and then I'm like changing that. And then I hear this from this person and I'm changing that. And I mean, I was pretty dialed in with a lot of the things in my plan, but I think certain people can do that. And like you said, like, yeah, your buddy, like focusing on having a kid or just different goals. If you have certain goals, and that's not to say that you shouldn't focus on having like supplements that are quality, because there are some that are really bad. Like, and it probably is a good idea to do your research and not just get the cheapest thing out there, because it might cause you more harm than good.
How is she testing it? How's Marissa testing it? She has like a little test kit or something? Like, how does she test it?
No, Marissa doesn't. She follows this lady, right? And so and it's crazy. Lady. Some of these things that she's found, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you shouldn't take that, right? I was like, it's crazy, like how loaded some of these things are, and lead and different like arsenic and stuff. She like tests for all these things. I think it's Lead Safe Mom is her name. Look into it. If anybody else is curious, like
testing it, and then Marissa's she's looking to see if those things are in the stuff that you guys are taking.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I think it's good to be mindful of for sure. But I was like, let's stop following her. It's ruining all of our food.
I thought Marissa had like her own like pH test kit and was like going through everything, all your supplements, and like shaking it up and looking at it like science project.
Like Element came out with a lot, but that makes sense. It's coming from the ground, right? Like it's a salt. Everything that comes from the ground probably going to have some in it, but I don't know. It just do your own research. It's good to be mindful of it, but I think at a certain point, they're probably around here, especially in the U.S., can find a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's just a do your best kind of thing, and then if you're going at certain goals, then dial things in a little bit more and be like even more mindful of what you got going on. But appreciate y'all. Hope you enjoyed this one. We kind of just randomly went at different shit again today, and but talked about some good stuff. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit. And we do appreciate you watching and listening every single week. All we ask is you share it with somebody that you think would benefit. Pass the podcast along if you think you got a friend, family member, coworker that would enjoy the stuff that we talk about on a regular basis, which is basic. I struggle to talk a lot of these times, guys, and so apologies. But yeah, if you think somebody would benefit from our research stuff that we're talking about, health, fitness, mindset, different things, send it on over to them. We do appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day, week. We'll be talking to you soon.